Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
The Dead Eye is a solo-only board game and one that I have done a playthrough on this channel. Now, it is solo, and I wouldn't call it a heavy game. I would just say that the rules are out of the ordinary a little bit, and they're a little hard to grasp. And I always find myself making a rules mistake here or there, and it's kind of hard to keep it all together just because the rules are a little bit esoteric, if you will. I think it works. I like the theme of it. I like the gameplay. It plays quick as a solo game, and you can see the progression as you're going through it. If you fail, you kind of pick it up where you left off, and you can keep moving, and I like that aspect. The game is difficult. Now, you are going to be building your deck and making decisions that will kind of, whether you win or lose, but the deck makeup is going to play you a little bit. I do like this one, probably not as much as Warp's Edge. I think I like that back building game better, and you normally wouldn't probably compare those two games because they're really nothing alike. But in a solo spirit, you have D6 Space Armada. You got this, some of the Dark Dealings. I like this one a little bit better. It's a really fun thing, and it had a novelty of the 3D glasses and being able to see it in 3D. It's neat. It's fun. I don't think it's necessary. It feels like it's a gimmick, and it is a gimmick, but the game shouldn't be just that gimmick. I think the game is better than that gimmick, and that might draw you in. It also might say, I'm doing this gimmick thing, and sometimes when things have gimmicks, I'm like, it's a gimmick. I'm not going to think very much of it, and I might pass it by. Dead Eye isn't one of those games. This is a solid, very good solo game with strategic decisions, and everything has weight to it, and it feels like I am controlling it, although I know the deck is making up some of that, but I can kind of punt those cards and mitigate those cards, and which ones am I going to add to my deck to make it stronger and more strategic in what I want to do. And I like that. Doesn't overstay its welcome. It plays really quickly. I can go, okay, the round is over. And that is peaceful when I'm in a solo game. I don't want to be there for 3 or 4 hours. It has a very easy setup, got a few cards, and you're going through this experience, this adventure. And I feel like I'm along for the ride, and I enjoy it very much. If you're into solo gaming, I would say the Dead Eye is one you definitely need to search out for and check out. Watch my playthrough, watch the flow of the game here, see if it's something that will meet your needs, but I found this one to be very fun, and it's what I keep wanting to go back to. I keep wanting to play it, I keep wanting to beat it, which I haven't done yet, and I find that a good experience and something I want in a solo game. If I don't have a bunch of people around me, and I want to pull out a game, I don't play computer games or video games, or maybe it's not a show one I want to watch, and I got a few minutes, the kids are in bed, I like to pull something out and be able to play it. This will hit that niche for me. It doesn't take up a lot of table space. It flows very nicely for a solo board game, and one I would recommend to you. It's a keeper for us. Check this one out, The Dead Eye. Here is The Dead Eye. As you can see, it has like a 3D look to it. do have the deluxe Kickstarter version. I don't know if it's a retail version or not, but it has a slip cover on it that's completely useless, and you can see the game here. When you open it up, you get a box. These baggies are going to be used for a particular purpose in the game. Not only are they free, but they help you when you save the game. You're going to get a little bit of a comic book here, which is kind of weird. It does look a little bit cooler in 3D, completely useless. You're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. There is a promo card that came with this. Let's check this out. The promo cards are a rover, a hitch, and a canyon. You can see this one right here has a +2 distance, and it gets rid of a strength and a part. It can be kind of brutal. Hitch is a -2. So you actually don't want this here. You want to get this to gain a part. And it's just use the ball to lose heat, which is nice. No negative on this one. And that will be what you get. That's the promos that came with it. You will get some player aids here, which are actually really nice. There's these setups and the effects. These are going to be your 3D glasses. I'm just going to show you one of these. There are one that comes with it that attaches to glasses if you need those. But these are just regular 3D glasses that you would have. And they work fairly well for their intended purpose. And then you're going to have the deluxe if you have the Kickstarter version, which will have some artwork, etc. in it, not needed at all. And then you're going to open this up and you're going to have the components for the game. You're going to have a board with the 3D effect on the back of it. But this is a side you'll use more because it has all the icons you'll be utilizing. You will get a deck of cards. That's really all the game is. You're going to have a little bit of the site map here you can utilize. These will help you in saving the game. I don't save the game a whole lot. I kind of play it all in one. And then you'll have these different cards and then one advertisement card here. The cards are fairly good quality. You might want to sleeve these just because you really don't want to know what's coming up. The artwork all has that 3D artwork on it. The icons are pretty easy to get the hang of once you start playing the game through a little bit. And then the backs will show you information as you're playing. These are your card decks you'll be utilizing. But as you add other cards, you kind of know if it's going to be heat or juice, which is going to be important because it's a card counting game. And then you're going to have your destination deck you'll be going through. Everything is pretty good quality. You know, you're going to love it or hate it based on the 3D artwork, I suppose. Here's the rulebook with the game objective here. You got the breakdown of all of the components, and you have an overview of how the cards work. This seemed like it'd be super helpful in the game. I didn't find it too helpful. Here is the setup of the game. You can see pictures where everything goes and kind of gets you moving in the right direction. This is where the rulebook kind of broke down for me. I didn't find this a very easy game to learn. I actually had to go online and watch a playthrough of it to kind of make sure I was doing everything correctly. So it's going to be a breakdown of how to play. There are plenty of examples that you can see here, but they didn't use like a view of the playing area. So I really couldn't figure out what was going on. Maybe I was just tired, or maybe the book wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And a breakdown of the icons. Now, those are on the player aid, but I would have liked them all in one part. Plenty of pictures, as you can see here. So when you got to this parts, I wasn't really sure where they went, how they activated. Didn't really. This is, hey, these are items. I would have liked a more visual appearance here than what I got. So I did struggle with that a little bit. You do have all the effects listed here, so it's a nice little cheat sheet that you have. An example play. Once again, it was zoomed in so far, I had a difficult time learning how to play it. And a little bit of a fact that is not very useful. But the player aids do help. And once you kind of know the general flow of the game, it's not that hard to play. You're going to have your site map here, which is going to track your progress through the game. So right now you're on 0. If you get to all 3 of these safe havens, you will win the game. And you can pause it once you get to each safe haven. Then you're going to have your destination cards. They're going to be numbered 1 through 10, as you can see right here. So you just put those in order, and you can stack those right here. And then you're going to have your core cards will have this circle on the back. This is going to be like your hand of cards. There's 14 of them, and then you kind of just shuffle these up, and these will be in your hand. You're going to have these strength cards that kind of have a dumbbell on it. You're going to get 5 of these, 4 or 5, and they will go right here. So they're kind of randomized. You have these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which are your hope cards, and they will go right there. And the rest of these cards will just be set aside. You'll use them when you get to the next stage, potentially. Then you're going to have the cards in your hand. So the way the game is going to work, if you meet the requirement of the distance, you can put it in your target area. No distance in the distance stack. So whenever you start the game, you're never going to have any distance because 0 is the least you can go. So this will always get pulled over. And what you're going to have here is a rec. It's going to tell you that you need 2 distance in order to try to obtain it. I cannot do that yet, so I'm going to put that aside. Normally it'd be up here in the target zone, but I'm putting it in here for your viewing pleasure, and I will turn over the top card. And what I can do is I can either do this card or I could pass on it. So this is an event card. I'll come back to these in a moment. So let's say you had a card like this. This tells you that it's heat, and you could have 2 of these icons, either heat or juice. For the most part, heat is a negative and juice is a good thing. So first thing I do is I could put this here and I could try to obtain it, which tells me I need to get 2 juice on this side for the positive to happen, or 3 heat on this side to be negative. Now, if I didn't want to do it, I could just put it over here and it's a heat. But let's say I did want to do this card. I could flip over the next card. It has juice on it. So I can simply put it there and I'm halfway to where I want to be. Flip over the next card. It has heat on it. So it will go there. The next card has juice on it, so it would go here. So now I have 1, 2 juice. If you look here on the card, there's a requirement of 2 juice. If I got 2 juices, then I would pop this and do what's on this part. If 3 heat would have came up, or I'd put them over here on this side, then this negative would have happened. Because these 2 juices with the X on it means I discard them. They get discarded right there. And this becomes a part. That means I can now use this. Use rubber to postpone heat. So anytime I could tap this, and they always come in tapped, and I would be able to get rid of a heat or postpone it if I wanted to. So let's say the next turn I was to draw the rest card. The rest card is an event card. So I would put it right here. I could activate all of my parts, or I could lose a hope. I could put a hope in here, and then put this on the bottom of my deck if I wanted to. But let's say I didn't want to do that. Instead, I wanted to use the rest. I can discard it, and I would untap all of my parts, which means I could use them. So the parts are pretty easy to use. I can use them anytime on my turn. I can just tap it, and I can postpone a heat. Heat's up there. Postpone means put it on the bottom of your deck. So let's say I have a card like this. It says tracks, and it's going to give me 2 distance. This is what I'm trying to accomplish in the game. So I flip over the next card, and it's a heat, and the next card is a heat. So I have 2 heat now, which is a requirement. They both get X'd out, as you can see on here. It has a little X. Sometimes I'll have this symbol, which means it goes on the bottom of your deck, but these 2 will get discarded. And this means I have to get rid of 2 hope. So 2 hope would go into my discard pile. Now, hope are good cards. They usually give you juice, which is good for you. The strength would normally give you heat. So then this would be discarded because I did not accomplish it. But let's say I did accomplish it. So I would put 1 of the juice that I accomplished it on the bottom of my deck. I would discard 1 over there. And then I would gain this in my card here. So that means I've traveled 2 distance. Lo and behold, that's what's required for this. So now if I chose to, I could put this here and work on it. Now the good thing about working on a card like this, there's no negative, as you can see over here. So I'm only going to be a positive. I'm going to be putting heat out. So let's go this for 1 juice. Oh, 2 juice. That worked out well for me, which means I accomplished this map. So now I have this item. These would be discarded because that's what that card tells me to do. But as you see, the next destination was available. Further than 2 distance. Well, I'm not further than 2 distance. I'm just at 2 distance, so I could not accomplish that one quite yet if I wanted to. Now, you're going to win the game. If you go through here, you're going to find out that there are safe havens. And each time you get to a safe haven, you're going to move up on this tracker. And if you get all the way to the bottom of the last safe haven, then you will win the game. I will lose the game if these ever run out. I need to draw a card, and they are not there. Now, after I reach the first safe haven, then I can get into a save thing. What I would do is I would take all of my cards and I would put them back in the originals where they were at. So I'm kind of resetting the board. The destinations I've already accomplished go out. And so this is a destination. It's already been accomplished. I'd make sure everything is set up. Then I would shuffle up these piles. I would get rid of 1 strength card. I would get rid of 1 hope card. Then I would grab 1 from the supplies, the cards I didn't use, put them in here, shuffle them up, and then I'm ready to start playing again. Just like I did before, you repeat and rinse, but you're trying to get higher up in here. If you reach the 3rd safe haven, you win the game. So it's a quick overview of how to play Deadeye. Who should buy this game? I would say solo gamers. Obviously, it's a solo game. If you're absolutely not going to play a game solo, then I would not recommend this game. I would probably tell you not to start here if you're a solo gamer. There's a little bit going on. The rules are a little bit tough to keep track of. If you play like Feast of Odin, I think you'll be fine here. Something like that. There's just a few things that are going on that are a little bit tricky that you got to follow along with. When you're solo gaming, it's fine because you can go slow or as fast as you want to go. So I think this hits a good medium here. The Deadeye is one. If you're a solo gamer, you really need to check this one out. Try to find yourself a copy of it. Keeper for me.